Good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Rundown. We're coming to you tonight from Grand Bahama. And of course, this is a place where there's been a lot of news-making headlines over the past few days. And to get a closer take on it, we're talking to some of the persons who've been in the news, really, to talk about it. One of those critical areas is, of course, the fires that have been taking place. And of course, the big question is, are these suspected as arson, or are these just the busyness of the brush fire season? What we do know, though, is that it's caused serious impact on the people here in Grand Bahama, if only because of the smoke creation coming from those fires. It's also stretched resources to the limit here on the island, where there's already been discussion surrounding adequate supply for fire services, and whether or not there needs to be a revisit of the plans here with fire services. Nonetheless, police have worked around the clock to ensure they were not only able to contain but also extinguish those fires in various areas. It's a good discussion to begin tonight, now that the hard work is done, as to where do we go from here. And then, of course, there are other concerns tonight that have come across the Royal Bahamas Police Force here in the Northern Bahamas. We're going to talk about some of those issues that people are talking about as to why there may be either an uptick or why there may be a serious concern in what appears to be an emerging trend. We'll talk about those issues tonight. But the important thing is to get our hands on what has been happening. It's been a big day around the country. April 1, it is not April Fool's Day. That decrease in VAT is actually reality. And throughout the Bahamas, persons should have been able to see the impact at grocery stores. If you visited, you would have been able to see that you're no longer paying 10% on those items on the shelves. You're paying now 5% because it's day one. And how that goes, we're going to talk to some of the persons in charge and the authorities to find out exactly how things went, what the hiccups were, whether people felt the impact, or whether there has to be further issues that are addressed in that particular initiative being rolled out by government. But I want to begin tonight with my guest, who of course is the head of the police force in the Northern Bahamas, and that means Grand Bahama as well, Assistant Commissioner of Police Edvardo Dames. Sir, welcome to The Rundown. Good to have you here tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Watson. Good evening, Bahamas. Thank you.
I want to begin with obviously the most interactive thing that has taken place with brush fires. But first, I want us to get an update. Ramiko Knowles filed a story giving us an update on where they are with investigations, the environmental concerns. I want to roll that report, and when we come back, we'll get ready to talking about the discussion. Here's a report from Ramiko Knowles.
Thick plumes of smoke billowing in the air. This has become a familiar sight in parts of Grand Bahama in recent weeks. But now a concerned resident is claiming that some of the fires were no accident. Donald Duncombe, a 33-year veteran of Borco with fire and safety training from the University of Nevada Fire Training School, captured video evidence of a blaze near Xanadu Beach. He believes the fire was deliberately set.
One of the things that puzzled me about the fire, it seemed to have started in the underbrush of the casuarina trees. And my knowledge of casuarina trees and everything like that would indicate that that couldn't have been a natural occurrence. I want you all to share this, man. We need to find these people who have...
And while it is brush fire season, Duncombe dismisses the theory that a glass bottle in the bush sparked the blaze. Another resident shared a video online of a blaze erupting in a dry brush area, also claiming it was intentionally set.
I believe this is where the fire was started, and then it progressed up there. And then if you come down here a little, there is the palm tree leaf that is stuck in the bushes. All the leaves burn off.
His video is the most compelling of it all because you can see that the individual, and you have to say individual because it can't be natural, the individual used the palm branch to start the fire.
On the other hand, environmentalist Joe Darvo doubts the fires were deliberately set, noting similar blazes in the Northern Bahamas and South Florida. He instead points to what he believes is the true cause of the fires on the island.
I counted in one area, probably less than a quarter of a mile, I counted 170 bottles. These are beer bottles, liquor bottles, etc. People have no regard for Mother Earth, the earth. They just drink and they just toss this stuff into the pine forest. And of course, with the excessive heat that we've been having and the drought at the same time, these things create spontaneous fires.
Firefighters have been battling these brush fires continuously, working to prevent damage to homes and businesses. But now, with these new claims, police have launched an investigation. In a press statement, officials say that an investigation task force comprising of officers from CID and fire services has been launched to investigate the recent fires. The police are now urging the public to stay vigilant and report any suspicious activity.
All right, that's our Ramiko Knowles reporting there. Good reporting, Ramiko. Again, Assistant Commissioner of the Northern Bahamas, Eduardo James, joins me in studio. So we would have seen Ramiko's report, ACP. So the quick question I'm going to have, is it arson or is it brush fire season?
It is brush fire season, but to explain to members of the public, fires are basically caused and we determine in particularly three ways. It's either accidental, it's either by nature, or it's intentional. And as we said, the current status is that as a part of the firefighting apparatus, investigators will always go out to determine the cause of any fire that is reported to the police. Mm-hmm. We are aware of the allegations. We are aware of the social media posts that have been circulating. Mm-hmm. And as a result, we have fortified the fire investigators with officers from the Criminal Investigation Department and other officers with expertise to form the task force. And Mr. Watson, I want the members of the public, the Bahamas, to know that the Royal Bahamas Police Force, we are driven by facts and not fiction. Where the facts lead, we will follow. And I assure you that the facts will determine our course of action. We, as I've said earlier, we are not tunnel visioned. We are looking at everything, and we are still determining the origins and the causes of these fires.
Does that mean that it's inconclusive at this time?
At this time, what I would say is that our task force and our fire investigators are currently conducting the investigations, analyzing what we would call the bushfire scenes to determine the facts. The science will determine where we go, as I said, the facts. And as I continue to implore members of the public, if you have information, and particularly persons who have videos out there, identify yourselves to us. Let us know who you are. You can do it so anonymously if you choose, or you may have an officer that you know who you can speak to and say, I am the originator of this video. This is where I was when I recorded this video. This is the information I have or do not have. And that is what we deal with. I want to stress, Mr. Watson, that Commissioner Shanta Knowles and the Royal Bahamas Police Force is committed to public safety and security. And as I said, wherever we find the facts, that is where we will go.
Is anything being ruled out at this point?
Nothing is being ruled out at this point, sir. Investigations are open and fluid. And as I continue to say, we are looking at all avenues. Nothing is closed.
What traditionally for the Bahamas is brush fire season?
Well, brush fire season traditionally is the dry season, where there's lack of rain. And based on that, the earth is dry, it's drenched, and at some time we've seen normally around this same period of year that there are brush fires. In firemen's term, they call it brush fire season. And that is what we've determined, that it is the season, yes, but always remember, any fire incident has an investigative apparatus and arm to determine how that fire was caused.
Are there any fires now that are still burning, or has everything been subsided now?
Thanks be to God and to the hard work of our firemen and our volunteers, there are no fires burning in Grand Bahama. Our fire teams, who have been ably supported by the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, are continuously monitoring but one or two areas for smoldering smoke. And they're monitoring these at 24 hours, and they're continuously going out on patrols and ensuring that there's no flare-ups or no ignition.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come out, we're going to talk about the resources of the police force here on the island, partnerships, talk about some of the other issues that are drawing attention from the criminal scene. You're watching The Rundown. We're coming to you, of course, from Grand Bahama. We're back.
After 30 years of banking, I've decided to take a leap of faith. I moved from banking into an untapped industry, which is manufacturing in the Bahamas. And now we are standing on 3 acres of land on which we're going to be putting the Bahamas' first end-to-end plastic recycling company, Eden Recycling and Manufacturing Company Limited. Eden has 2 arms, recycling and manufacturing.
This is groundbreaking for us. It's never been done before. It really makes a difference, not only in the Bahamas, but even around the world. This is not just a project that we're doing so that we can make a couple of dollars. We want to make sure that it benefits those who come after us. In future generations, we hope that this is a small vision, that they will take it and they'll expand on it. We can have the formula for what it means to do end-to-end recycling in the Bahamas, in the region, and even if we have to export these ideas and thoughts and concepts even into the U.S.
Hello everyone, this is Tony Williams back with a special promotion for BahamasAir.com and GoGo Florida. The $100 deposit is back, but it's only on your debit card. So whether you're renting that sedan, SUV, or spacious minivan for group or family trips, keep your cash in your pocket. Only Dollar Thrifty is making it convenient for you. Your $100 deposit held on your debit card. Available at Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, and Orlando. Book now and save big all summer long.
Rundown. We are indeed coming to you from Grand Bahama tonight. We're talking in the first segment with ACP Northern Bahamas Advado Dames about these bushfires, brush fires, and investigations. This has also brought to light, sir, concerns which have been around before, and that is the resources of the fire services, which of course comes under your remit at the police force, whether there's adequate for services on the island. What say you? First of all, how many fire trucks do we have, and what is the update regarding services on the island?
Mr. Watson, in my estimation, we have adequate resources to handle bushfires or any number of fires on Grand Bahama. Your first question, we have 2 working fire trucks. 2 fire trucks are down.
2 of them are down.
2 of them are down. Nevertheless, Commissioner Shanton Knowles has authorized and purchased the necessary parts that are currently being manufactured, and we are awaiting delivery of those parts. Once we receive those parts, the other 2 fire trucks will be in operation.
So this process has gone in motion since the commissioner has taken office?
Yes, sir.
So there has been significant movement, obviously, because how long were these trucks down for?
These trucks were down for more than a year.
More than a year.
And our Commissioner Shanton Knowles made a promise when she took office. She sent an additional fire truck to Grand Bahama. And Bahamas, she also went on a fact-finding mission into acquiring more fire apparatus and machinery. And at a later date, she will make that public to the Bahamas. We have a strong community ties in Grand Bahama. and in the northern Bahamas, I would say by extension, but particularly we're speaking about Grand Bahama. And because of the relationship that we have with the members of the public, our corporate community, our non-governmental agencies, we are able to call upon them and some of our partners who assist us in firefighting our airport fire crash and rescue. Our partners at Borco, our partners at the container port, Freeport Container Port, our partners at the Grand Bahama Shipyard. And then we have wonderful individuals such as Mr. Sholin Rule from B&B Galaxy, we have Mr. Herman Major, we have Mr. Franco Miller, Mr. Patrick McDonald. These persons, and even the Grand Bahama Port Authority assists us at times. So the police is the community, Mr. Watson, and the community is the police, and the Royal Bahamas Police Force in Grand Bahama. We are entrenched in the community, and this is why they come to our aid and assist us. But to answer the question outrightly, we have the necessary resources to tackle any fire, and by the grace of God, we did that. And I owe it all to God. I can't forget that, Mr. Watson, and the ability of our fire chief, his coordination, his collaboration with our partners, and in addition, our friends from the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. We have made many gains, and we are holding the line and ensuring that we keep Grand Bahama safe.
Defense Force officers arrived on Saturday, some 20 plus of them, to give assistance. Are they still here, and what was the nature and scope of their work?
First and foremost, I want to say that the Royal Bahamas Defense Force has a presence in the Northern Bahamas. Commander Valentino Rule, on the outset, he was assisting us at the beginning of these bushfires with his officers. Additional support was sent by Commodore King, some 34 officers, and they've been a valuable supplement to our fire officers in terms of relief. Our fire officers during the time were working for more than 24 hours.
That's tiring.
Yes, and they were valiantly holding the line, and the much needed relief was welcome. And we appreciate them, we appreciate their support.
We saw the involvement of the opposition there as well. Prime Minister made clear on Saturday this is not a political thing, no time for grandstanding. All hands must be on deck. Did you ever receive communication from the opposition regarding what was happening and what area they could assist in?
Mr. Watson, I would say this. The Royal Bahamas Police Force is in the business of protecting all citizenry. We don't differentiate by race, color, or creed. And wherever help is offered, we deem necessary, we accept.
Did they offer help? Did they communicate with you formally about wanting to assist?
I have not had any communication.
Okay. When we talk about resources on the island, and you talk about fire services and the fact that you're getting parts to get the other two trucks up to par and operating, people have cried shame on the fact that Grand Bahama Island only has two. But you've said that at no point, Mr. Watson, were we not able to do our job and provide adequate support. There's been criticism levied when they've had brush fires in the past that there were not adequate supply. Do you defend that, or do you say that's not the case?
I would say, Mr. Watson, as I said before, we have adequate resources to handle any bushfire or fire incidents. We are ably assisted by our partners, and collectively we do this job. Whether you have 10 fire engines or you have 2. The bottom line is that as a community, and this is why we are in this business as police officers, to engage the community, to assist us in fighting crime, in fighting fires. And it's a partnership because other stakeholders have interests in this community. So I will say and repeat again that we have adequate resources to tackle and handle what has happened and what we don't want to happen anymore. But we do have the adequate resources, sir.
And again, hats off to you for great work that you've done in getting things under control. We've seen also some fires in the Berry Islands. And that, I don't know, that comes under the Northern Service as well. Prime Minister would have gone to visit there and seen what was happening there. Is that under your remit as well?
The Berry Islands is not under my remit, but it's under Assistant Commissioner Marino Hines, Family Islands.
Okay, because we're seeing, and I just want to make sure I had the Northern Service covered. There were also reports of fires in Abaco. Can you give us an update on those?
Well, Abaco has a strong, as I said again, we have a strong community relationship, and Abaco has a strong volunteer fire service who assists.
They have a volunteer fire service?
Yes.
We don't have fire officers there?
We have fire officers there who assist and lead the charge in directing and guiding. Right now, at this time, Abaco is under control. There's no fires burning in Abaco.
All right. I want to turn now to some other issues in the crime and get your take on what has been happening. We've seen an uptick in suicides and attempted suicides in Abaco and Bimini. Any insight or intel as to what is happening, why we're seeing this? And I must say, we've seen it in New Providence as well. There's been an uptick in it. Any intelligence, early intelligence, as to what may be happening?
First and foremost, Mr. Watson, to my recollection, there's been no incidents of suicide in Bimini.
In Bimini, I was just about to say, when I saw Bimini here,
yes.
I was kind of concerned if I missed something.
Yes.
I'm just aware of Abaco, yeah.
But we are always concerned about deaths, especially unnatural deaths. And it's very concerning to us that an individual, what I would like to say is that death is final.
Mm-hmm.
And where you find that there are issues that you cannot handle, reach out. The other aspect is that family members and friends pay more attention to your loved ones. And where you see some signs of depression, or you see sometimes of some grief or stress, persons in debt, persons may be using drugs or quality of life issues, and feel that there's no other way out, reach out to someone who can, a professional, a pastor, a psychiatrist, even the police officers, or a medical practitioner who can offer some help. But we are always concerned about these types of incidents.
I remember recently on my show, we spoke to medical practitioners in the area, and we asked the question. I was surprised at the response. The question was, is attempts of suicide a crime? And they said, yes. I need you to explain that, because people are surprised that if you make an attempt to take your life, that's a criminal offense.
The penal code lists suicide as an offense. It is the law, and any attempt to commit suicide is against the law. It is an offense.
So does that mean that somebody who attempts suicide can be charged for it?
Yes, they can.
Has that happened in the past?
Of recent, we have not charged anyone with attempted suicide. I am of the belief that the life is more important, and collectively, we try to, with our other partners, to help individuals.
I want to turn to another concern that will be seen in the news, and that is an increase in sexual assaults with minors, particularly in the northern Bahamas. Can you talk to us about that? What's been happening?
Well, Mr. Watson, what I can say to you, based on our preliminary figures, those type of matters have actually decreased. But any unlawful sexual intercourse is of a concern just because it involves young persons. And what I would say is that parents, guardians, you have to pay more attention to your young adults, young girls, young boys. Pay attention to them, pay attention to their social media activity. I encourage any young person who is inappropriately touched, inappropriately spoken to speak out. Speak to your guidance counselor, speak to your teacher, speak to your parents. And in some incidents, we've had parents who've been the violator. And so speak to an adult that you can trust. But we are always concerned about these type of incidents, and where we find it, we will investigate it fully, and we will enforce the full brunt of the law.
The family of Elkino Miller is still looking for closure and answers. For those who may not know, his body was found burnt beyond recognition. They're still waiting on an autopsy some 7 months later and say they have no closure. What can you tell us about this case?
Mr. Watson, what I can say about the Elkino Miller matter is that it is classified as a missing person report. And we are actively looking for this individual. If anyone has any information that may tell us his whereabouts, we would be glad to know that.
There is still no identification on the body found burnt beyond recognition?
There's no identification on that.
Why is the autopsy taking so long?
Well, sir, we are awaiting the results of the DNA testing.
And that is that being tested overseas?
That has to be outsourced, yes, sir.
So it's just a matter of waiting for the response to that?
Yes.
And then finally, I found this one quite interesting when we spoke to Grand Bahamians. They've made mention about what they call, quote, excessive roadblocks on Grand Bahama. And I want to conclude with that. Tell us about that. Some people call that great police work. But people are wondering, what are you checking for? There's been an increase in the roadblocks. I'll let you speak to that.
Mr. Watson, the public say roadblocks. We call it road checks.
Road checks.
They are necessary in our crime fighting strategy as a preventative means. And it also helps us to detect crime. The main thing about these road checks is to ensure that road users are complying with the road traffic laws. We want to reduce accidents, we want to reduce traffic fatalities, and that is our preventative means. We also want to detect individuals who may be traversing the streets in uninsured and unlicensed vehicles and committing traffic offenses. And we're not always out there reporting individuals for infractions. On many occasions, our officers are distributing safety tips. They are giving out flyers on road safety, and this is what we do. And based on what we do, we are seeing our preliminary numbers assuring that we are holding the line in terms of
I was about to ask that. Are you seeing a difference?
Yes, we're seeing a difference. And the mere fact that we are mandated to increase our visibility on the streets, and this is what we do. And yes, it may be frustrating to you, but I assure you that it is working for us. And if you are abiding by the laws, you have nothing to fear. It may be an inconvenience for a little time that you may have to spend in a road check, but we ask that you pay attention to the road laws, road traffic laws, and be courteous to our officers.
I agree. And pack yourself an extra pack of patience. That's important, because I'm sure you're going to benefit from it, right? Because when they find that person who ain't got no license or insurance and they can take them off the road, that benefits you. Because if that person hits you, guess what? They ain't got no license, they ain't got no insurance. You can cry. So they're doing a good job. ACP, thank you for the work that you and your officers are doing and the services that you're doing to our country. Hats off to you, sir. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, stay with us. Ahead on the rundown here from Grand Bahama, it's VAT reduction day. Did you go shopping? Listen, some of y'all might go and spend money in the grocery store and didn't need to go to the grocery store just to experience your 5% decrease. Now you're going to buy grocery you don't need, and you got to eat all that grocery tonight. We're going to talk about VAT reduction when we come back and find out what's going on and how that's working with consumer protection. You're watching the rundown from Grand Bahama here on the ZNS Network. We're back after this. Stay close.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exoma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching our young young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that can take them further in life.
Planning the execution of a newscast is serious business. From the assignment to the concept of the story, everything has to be precise, on point, always. The Bahamas Tonight, the national report, is your trusted news service. We get it right the first time. Our preparation for you each night is done with care, knowing that our voices will reach you on 700 islands and keys with unquestionable accuracy. It gives me great pleasure each night to say,
welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. I'm your national anchor, Mukesh Lopinder.
With our adoption by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
We figured that we could use the first Bahamas branch of Toastmasters Club 1600, an all-male club that specializes and focuses on developing young men for leadership through communication.
This program has grown and has impacted our school in such a positive way that I don't think we'll ever have them leave us.
Too often, instead of us looking within, we look outside for someone to blame. Go take a look in the mirror. Instead of trying to identify what the problems are, let's try and figure out how we become a part of the solution.
We are teaching these children how to dream beyond their community.
Crime-free looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community, also help with the education of our kids in this community, and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
Welcome back to the Rundown, coming to you from Grand Bahama. And I gotta say a special good night to all of you who are in the Lion's Den on Facebook. Good to see all of you. I see you there online. And those of you who are watching on YouTube or your various platforms, you're in Turks and Caicos, watching on Flow or Digicel around the Caribbean, those of you watching us internationally from around the world, and of course, around the Bahamas, you have cable platform or Flow TV. It's good to have all of you. Always a pleasure to have you tune in to the Rundown. Obviously, it's not April Fool's if you found that you got some extra change from the food store today, more than you thought you would get back. That's because it's the day one of the VAT reduction. VAT has been reduced to 5%, and of course that means that you will pay a little less on your VAT. Thanks to this give back by the administration announced by Prime Minister back in January. And so he said April 1, it will take effect, and today it took effect. And to find out more about this, let's go to a report with Cleopatra Murphy, and we will come back and discuss this issue. Take a look.
It's official. Value-added tax has been reduced to 5% on unprepared foods, and residents are embracing the move as a much-needed change.
It's a good thing because everybody knows the price of grocery is so expensive, and, it discourages you sometimes to purchase things, but because you need it, you have to get it, so no use complaining about it. But if we got 5%, then that's good.
Resident Shaniqua Moore was unaware VAT had dropped from 10% to 5%, chalking her savings at the cash register to in-store specials until alerted by the cashier. Unlike her, sisters Lorna Knowles and Laverne Williams were intentional and opted to wait for Tuesday to stretch their dollars.
We are on monthly, and so we waited for this day. Like yesterday, my sister said, "Oh, we're not going shopping today. We're waiting for the 5% drop." And I was like, "Okay then." And so we waited for this day, so we anticipate that when we go on there, that it will be feasible to our monthly and see how much more we can get.
It feels super great because, you know, dealing with when you're on monthly voucher and thing, and you could stretch it a little bit more. It may not be as much as you expected, but you could stretch it a little bit more and we could be able to get a little more things to carry home.
Among residents grocery shopping was Harold Miller, and for him, the proof of savings were in the receipt.
The change will help a little bit, you know what I mean? Yeah, it will help, especially, and we should appreciate, you know what I mean, the daily it will do, you know. It's much less, 5% less, you know, than it used to be.
Her grocery cart filled, Raquel Henfield says the VAT reduction will help her dollars go further and make a huge difference for persons experiencing hard times.
If grocery items were reduced at VAT on grocery items on the whole, that would benefit especially persons who are in Grand Bahama and persons who are unemployed, you know, and Freeport especially. It would help. The burden would be released a lot.
Rosella Rowe shares the same sentiment.
It's a good idea, but it should be much more lower than this, because there's a lot of people out there still hurting and they don't have a job, so it needs to go down much lower.
This is the second time the Davis administration has lowered VAT, taking it down from 12% to 10% in January 2022. Minister of Economic Affairs Senator the Honorable Michael Alcides in January estimated government will lose $30 million in revenue with this latest reduction. But Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis says the move is intended to bring down the cost of living and ensure food is affordable for Bahamians. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Thank you, Cleopatra. Great story there. Well, to discuss more on what happened today and what this means for you is Chief Price Inspector here in Grand Bahama, Reno Smith. Sir, welcome to the Rundown. Good to have you.
Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure being here.
So, no complaints here, other than the person who thought VAT should go down further than 5%. I guess you want VAT free, because it went from 15 now to 5. Lord have mercy. The people will never be satisfied.
Hello.
But obviously, people are excited. The fact that they feel it may put a few dollars back in their purses and in their wallets. Mm-hmm. What did you find today, you and your team? Were you out and about throughout the day? Tell us about the day.
It was a very exciting day for us. We were pleasantly amazed at the reception of the various business houses and the actual outcome. All of the major stores were actually compliant.
Wow.
We had one store.
Just one.
Only one. And usually we were surprised by that, because usually this store is always on point.
Wow.
We've never had a problem with this particular store. But I think they had a glitch in the system, they said, or what other reason they might have given, because they all should have been prepared. The Prime Minister made the announcement or pronouncement in January, and so basically all of the food stores were in compliance. Last week we started in West End doing some intentional inspections, and we found something that we're not pleased with, and we want to alert consumers about it. There's a particular store in West End that's charging VAT. There's no VAT certificate. We're not sure this person is compliant.
Wow.
The government isn't receiving any funds from this person.
Wow.
And so we are asking consumers, whenever they go into a food store, not only should you see the business license clearly displayed on the walls, you should also see the VAT certificate. And if you don't see a VAT certificate and the proprietors of that establishment is charging VAT, you need to complain to them about it in the first instance, use your smartphone, take pictures, what have you, and come to us with the evidence.
Let's pause right there. That's important. Because like you say, just how people display business license, if a store is authorized to collect VAT, they should have that certificate there. Because there are businesses who are not paying VAT.
Right. They're not VAT compliant.
Not VAT compliant.
We need, of course, Consumer Affairs work in conjunction with the VAT department. I need the people to understand that Consumer Affairs is not responsible for VAT. We have a whole VAT department at Inland Revenue.
Correct.
I don't know if they have inspectors or whatever have you, but we are calling on the VAT department to do some random checks because we've gotten some complaints. I heard of one businessman, expat, who has a very extravagant machine that is being rented by people, and he's charging them VAT on this machine as well.
But not paying VAT to government.
Not paying VAT to government. So we need the VAT department to do further due diligence in that.
And let me tell you what's important to you who are watching. VAT is important because when persons collect or charge VAT, VAT does not go to the business. VAT is a government tax that should go to the government.
Exactly.
So if people are charging you for VAT but are not VAT compliant, guess where that money going? There's extra money going into their cash registers for them, and not to the government. So it's important to ensure that people who are collecting VAT are actually VAT compliant because that money will have to go to the government.
Yes, yes.
So obviously people went out you were out and about today, people. What are people expected to see? Because people probably thought they're going to see these reduced prices.
Listen, we need that Read Bahamas program to be reintroduced. A lady went, she got some condensed milk or baby milk, and she said she was in the food store yesterday, and she came back to buy another one, and it's the same price. Listen, the price of food did not drop per se. The price of VAT
drops. The
tax dropped, not the price of the food. And then I had a late lunch, so I had to go to a restaurant near the office today, and people were complaining that the restaurant was charging VAT on the food, and I had to let them know it's on unprepared food.
That's what people don't get. It's the same amount on restaurant food.
If you go to a restaurant and whatever, you're going to pay for that.
Right.
It's for unprepared food, the VAT.
I keep stressing, I've been stressing, and people still won't get it. It's not VAT 5% reduction. 5% is not on everything in the Bahamas.
No.
It is right now on unprepared food items, grocery items. You go inside a gas station or buy something out of there, that's fine. Once it's not prepared or cooked or whatever, it's same thing in the food stores. It's not on every item. It's not on restaurant. If you go for restaurant services, it is only on food items right now. What it's meant to do is to cut down for you on the essentials. So restaurant, they're not essential. It's beneficial, but it ain't essential. The other items, gasoline, services you may get, all of those things have not changed. This is on food items to help bring relief to the Bahamian consumer who have to buy essential items, grocery food items, to live and sustain. That's where you'll see the 5%. And it must only be if that store is VAT compliant to do it. So some food stores, if you go to a mom and pop shop, you ain't gonna see no savings if they don't pay VAT.
Right. Also, as far as the government is concerned, I know I love my Cheetos. I'm going home this evening to eat a bag of Cheetos. You can't get 5% VAT on Cheetos, Vitamalt, chocolate, candies, etc. That's not unprepared food. The Cheetos are already prepared in the package.
Oh, I didn't realize
the
that.
Vitamalt is in the glass, eh? And so unless it's unprepared stuff, you will not see that 5% reduction in your VAT.
So you can possibly go to the food store and pick up unprepared groceries, and you see 5% off on those.
Yes.
And then put your Vitamalt, your Cheetos in there, and you're gonna see the 10%.
Very much so. As a matter of fact, what I would like to suggest to consumers for them to see, because there's going to be a lot of confusion over the next few days.
Right.
If you can't get 2 trolleys, divide your trolleys with all the unprepared food items.
Right.
Cash them out first. You'll see the savings, I promise you. And then your other items that are not unprepared food, cash them out after the fact. And you'll see you'll be 10% on that, but for your unprepared food items, you will see the 5%.
I see a little trend there. I see they're trying to make sure people are eating healthier too.
Very much
it's more affordable, which is a good thing. Because I've said it and I'll say it again. You cannot say we are a country who's focused on health and wellness, but yet it's too expensive to eat healthy.
Right. For instance, your cassava, 5%.
5%.
Your potatoes, your celeries, 5%.
Your fruits and vegetables.
Your fruits and
The stuff you say you couldn't afford to buy because it's too expensive and they're good for you,
you get it now. And so go ahead, get those stuff separated in your shopping cart, cash those out first so you can see that the food stores are not taking advantage of you.
What about canned goods?
Again, unprepared. The key phrase is unprepared.
Things like spaghetti and meatballs.
That's unprepared in the sense that even though it's in the can already, you gotta
cook it. You gotta mix it.
That's a little technicality.
Tuna and corned beef.
They're unprepared.
Okay. You have to prepare it.
There's a thin line there because some of us like tuna salad, some of us like steamed tuna. All right, so it's unprepared.
Okay, so that's how you...
Technicality.
Right. So it's important people understand that so you know that you have to select and make sure you know what you're getting your savings on so you can get it. Things like meat, right?
Yes. Interesting enough, I read the whole act yesterday. I wouldn't use a phrase that I saw in it, but the other word for donkey, all of that.
I saw that in there too. They talk about it in Parliament.
All of that. Even, I was surprised, horse meat.
Wow.
I don't know if we're selling horse in the country, but it's in the act. All right?
Horse meat.
Horse and donkey.
That person's getting your nerve, in other words.
Yeah, but there's a whole list, and I invite those of you who are watching, go to your computer, log on to your computer and pull up the VAT Bill 2025, Bahamas, and you will see all that you're entitled to, what items are discounted 5% VAT. You can see it right there. Pull it up on your phone. Let your children pull it up on their tablets. Be informed consumers.
That's important. Do you believe there's still too many people who are unaware of when they go shopping of what they should be looking for? And generally, I'm talking as a price inspector. People don't understand their rights, don't understand what calculations should take place. And a lot of times we overspend simply because we don't understand what we are entitled to or what's available to us. So we end up spending more than we have to simply because we don't know.
All right, listen. In addition to the VAT certificate and the business license being on the wall, all food stores are supposed to have what is called a price schedule. You should know what, I don't want to call no store name, you should know what store A purchased their item from the wholesaler B.
Really?
All right? That is supposed to be displayed on the wall. And so if they are not aware, the store that is, if the store is not aware that they might have overpaid the wholesalers for stuff, most likely they will overcharge the consumer. But if the consumer has the right to go to the wall and check the price schedule, to see what you purchased this item for, to see what you're selling it for, and to see if you're overcharging me.
That is supposed to happen.
In every store in this country. All right?
People are getting away.
Hey. The price schedule, you know, we have people, and we have to help a lot of the smaller stores here on Grand Bahama. They just went into the food business, did not do due diligence. They didn't know that, well, so they claim, that there's a certain markup on prices that they can sell particular items for. They figure, well, I'm a little convenience store, and so I could sell this cream for $3.
Right.
The convenience is you opening up early and closing late. The convenience isn't for you to take advantage of the people. There is a price control schedule for breadbasket items. And if you don't know that going into business, you're going to lose. You're going to lose.
Wow, that is, you know, I always tell people the same thing. People are saying that they try to go use the debit cards, and some stores are telling them, oh, you have to have a minimum purchase, only to find out that is not the law.
Listen, just today, we had a gentleman come in the office. As a matter of fact, it was the first case I had to deal with this morning. His wife wanted some items from a particular hardware store here on the island. And he went and he purchased it. The wife did not tell him that she was able to purchase the stuff herself. So when he got home, the wife had already had the items. He went back to exchange the stuff, get his funds back. The particular business establishment just today charged him a 20% restocking fee and gave him, they wanted to give him his refund on a gift card. Well, I called the establishment and they were not aware. I said that law was changed from last year. You cannot give nobody a gift certificate because you're holding them hostage.
Correct.
You're telling them they have to come back to my establishment
Correct.
to buy something as a result of this gift card. If they used their credit card, you have to re-credit the credit card. If they paid cash, you have to give them the cash back. This gentleman, he left my office, and I told him, you know, I wish we had more consumers like you. He left my office today, so happy. The 20% restocking fee was refunded.
Wow.
And he got all of his money. See, if you don't know your right as a consumer, you will forever be taken advantage of. I always tell people, listen, you go in any business establishment with the money in your pocket, and they talking foolishness or doing foolishness, just tell them have a good day, because the power is in your wallet. And where's your wallet? In your pocket. Walk out. No sensible business person will allow a customer to walk out of their establishment with all that money they came in the establishment with.
Wow.
Meet your customers halfway, work with them. And so the lady said, well, sir, as a matter of fact, I promised to get the act. I forgot. Today was a busy day for us, so I'll try and get it for her tomorrow. But she was not aware. This is a multi-million-dollar company on this island, and was not aware that the law was changed, that you cannot give nobody a refund on a gift card, etc.
Wow. Stay with us. We're going to wrap up and conclude all of this when we come back after the break. Stay close.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting TingsyBahamas.com.
Mailboat service is a critical service to the islands of the Bahamas. Certainly, Andrews has always been there and dear to us. That's where we're born and raised. And so we play a crucial role in advancing the growth and development of Andrews. Customers want service and they want consistency. From the start, that's been our commitment. We work to sail on time every time. Our customers have come now to expect this from us. And one of the biggest challenges we've had was finding adequate funding. SBDC from the very start has been a lifesaver. My advice to young people, if you have a vision, a passion, an idea, go for it. Don't give up. It's not easy. If it was, everybody would be doing it. Be consistent and you'll get there.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
Mario.
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the Sunshine Room.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
Covering the news seems easy, but we put thought into what we're doing. The Bahamas Tonight Access Now. Here to inform, educate, and entertain. A new type of newscast featuring social media trends, news from around the islands, interviews with the people you like in our communities, sports, weather, and fabulous entertainment. That's a Bahamas Tonight Access Now with Marlena Leonard and LaDon Davis. 7:30, Monday to Friday. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. We're wrapping our discussion with Chief Price Inspector Reno Smith, talking about how successful today was. Just about pretty much everybody compliant with the VAT reduction, and of course, showing you where you will see the difference. You don't go in there with $100 and expecting to be able to get $50 change if you normally would spend the full 100. Ain't gonna happen. It's 5% on unprocessed foods. So that's certain items, and of course, that's still a reduction. You know, sometimes as people become ungrateful and say, well, I didn't know savings. Well, anything is better than nothing, right? It's better than what you had before.
Look at those persons on the story earlier, those persons who living on vouchers. And
That's right.
They're very grateful, very grateful. That 5% went a long way for them today.
Even only an extra can of tuna.
Come on, man. We must learn to be grateful and appreciative of the small steps, and then eventually you would be able to appreciate those bigger steps that you would make or that will be made, you know?
Let me ask you, because people, as price inspectors, we always think that your role is to ensure that people are not overcharging. Is that such a thing? Is there a margin that every item should have as far as price-wise, and what happens if people outside of that?
Listen, there is a margin on breadbasket items, eh?
Only on breadbasket items?
As far as the government is concerned, you don't need ice cream. All right, so if I want child, and I watch my briars went up, but I love it, so I'll pay for it. Right. But that's not price control, neither is Vitamalt and coconut water. We love those things. Right. Now, when it comes to the breadbasket items, there are margins in place. Now, what would make a particular store look as if they're overcharging? Say an item can be sold for $1. Some business establishments, based on where they get that particular item from, might sell it for 70 cents. Another one might sell it for 99 cents. And so you think the store that's selling it for 99 cents is overpricing. Right. They are within the margin. They are giving it to you 1 penny less. That they are required to. All right, and so it's a matter of competition, and as we all know, Consumer Affairs and the government is working on this competitive program now, where even before you go to the food stores, you would be able to pull it out. That's
what I've been hearing. I've been hearing you be able to pull up an app and compare what it costs.
Compare what it costs at store A or store B. Not only will it save you time, it'll save you gas.
Wow.
Because you ain't gonna wait on
drive it up and down unnecessarily. When somebody up here got it cheaper.
Very much so. And so we are trying to educate the consumer. We're trying to make it as easy and feasible as possible for the consumer.
Well, that's off to you guys. I know you guys had a busy day, but thank you for the work you're doing, Mr. Reno Smith, Chief Price Inspector.
Thank you for having us.
Always a pleasure.
The pleasure is indeed ours to be here to help you educate the community.
Thank you. So make sure you go and get your savings. Don't shop unnecessarily now. If you're already been to the grocery store, don't go back. Whenever it's time to go back, the same 5% will be right there waiting on you.
Hello.
You ain't got to go now. Ain't no period. You ain't got 5 days to get the 5%. It's going to be going forward. So take your time and do that. That does it for us for the rundown here from Grand Bahama. But stay close. Remember the Bahamas Night at 11 with Royston Jones. He's probably back in the studio and now so preparing. Of course, it is the final news of the day, where you get the full information only on the ZNS network. And make sure you tune in at 11 o'clock. That's it for the rundown from Grand Bahama. I'll be back in Nassau over the show tomorrow night. For all of us here in Grand Bahama, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night, everyone.
At Fort Montague, I'm Opal Roach. This is ZNS.